Hi, I'm Deane, and welcome to a tutorial series where together we'll build a design system in Sketch called Deane. Today we're going to get to know tools like Abstract, set up our artboards, and a grid system. Okay, I'm back home, and that's because I work in a shared office space and the cleaners kicked me out. And I've got every right to do that. I'm going to clean up. It's 11:45 at night, and we're about to look at the last article I wrote in Medium. It was called Design Systems, Preparation, Software, Services and Plugins. It was meant to be a bit of a precursor to the rest of the series. I had a little bit about it, a bit about preparation, discipline, the main ingredient Sketch, what Sketch libraries are, and then went into things like customizing your toolbar, customizing your keyboard shortcuts, and installing some plugins that we'll be using like Sketch Runner, Auto Layout, Nudge, Rename It, Color Contrast Analyzer, and Sketch Palettes. I've also covered a little bit about the versioning side of it, and we'll be using Abstract. So think of Abstract as kind of like a GitHub for Sketch files. You can branch off different things that you're focusing on, have multiple designers working on one file at once, and merge everything back into your main file. That's pretty powerful, and hopefully it'll be a good workflow for you as well. It's been pretty good for me so far. I'll be putting a link to this article in the description for this video. So go and read it and set up everything the same way that I have, and you'll be able to follow a lot easier. With that said, let's open Abstract. Hopefully you would have downloaded Abstract and set up an account. My one, of course, is called @Deane, and you can see the Deane project I was working on a few months ago. Let's archive this so we all start from the same place. Okay, the Abstract interface is pretty clean. You can see my name over here on the left-hand side, a status indicator, and a way to just get around my projects. We're going to click on New Project. I'm going to call mine Deane. You can call yours whatever you like. A free design system, and let's paste in my brand color. The first thing you're asked is to add a file, but you can create a sketch file from within Abstract. So let's do that. I'm going to call it Deane System Global. I'm calling it global because I want this to be a sketch library. All right, what's next? We have to create a new branch. We're going to call this one Artboards and Grid. And you could probably leave the description blank at this stage. Okay, once you've done that, you can now select Edit and Sketch. Sketch is now open, and at the bottom you can see the Abstract toolbar. If we save this, you can actually see it saving. Now if you want a quick tour around Sketch, on the left-hand side we've got the Layers panel, a Pages panel, a toolbar that you can customize in the same way I told you to do so in the article. Moving things into here by selecting any of these and moving them into place. On the right-hand side, you've got your inspector. Now, this is really powerful when you start to get into nested symbols. But for now, we're going to rename this page Deane System Artboards and Grid. What we're going to do now is set the Artboards grid to 8x8. We can do that by coming up to the ruler, right-clicking and selecting Grid Settings. At the moment it's set to 20x10. Let's change it to 8x8. I'm now going to go get the specs for these artboards from one of the articles I was already writing. Let's grab this, paste it into here, use the inspector to align it to the left. And we're going to need to get it away from the first artboard that we're going to create. So let's go -1000 by 0. And that's how you position things in Sketch. You've got the position here, the size, transform, Sketch's typeface options that we'll get more into when we start to develop typography. Now the first artboard we're going to make is 1920 pixels by about 1200 pixels. And we do this by going to the toolbar and selecting Artboard. Now the inspector is going to give you the options you need to create this artboard. We're going to go to responsive web, choose something that's quite big, position it properly, and its size will be 1920 by 1200. That text we created already went funny, so we're going to move it back to where it was. For that artboard, we have to set up our grid system. If we look at our settings here, I've got 1440 pixels wide, a 32 pixel gutter, 88 pixel columns with outside gutters. What does that look like? Let's select the artboard, go to View, Canvas, Layout Settings, type in 1440, skip this and this, change this to 32. We're going to check the rows tick box and change this to 8 and 1. It's okay. Now turn on your grid and we'll set up some guides. And you can already start to see that it's on a perfect 8-point soft grid. Now to make guides, you come up to the ruler and you can start to see it appear. We want to set one at 256. $960, $944, $976, and $1664. Now, if you're using different content widths, you might want to bring one in to 376 and 1544. Let's save where we're at and have a look at the next artboard. Now this one's called Tablet Landscape, but it's basically a landscape iPad. And the grid system we have there is 960 pixels wide with 32 pixel gutters, 48 pixel columns, and outside gutters with the same rows. Let's zoom out. Now you can create another artboard using this existing one and holding down Option and Shift and dragging it to the side, or selecting it and creating another one. We'll do that instead. Let's select Tablet. Now its orientation is wrong, so we're just going to click this switch. We're going to position this at 2100. Go in, paste its name, go to View, Canvas, Layout Settings. We've already got a 960, sweet. I'm going to center that, change this to 32, center it again, change its rows to 8 and 1, and select OK. Zoom in and create some guides. At 48, 512, 496, 528, and 976. And you can make those other column guides here as well if you like. At 128 and 896. Now our next one is changing the orientation of that landscape tablet artboard to portrait. It's got 768 pixel width, 32 pixel gutters, 32 pixel columns, and outside gutters again, with the same row settings. Let's select this artboard, create a new artboard, select tablet, and where do we say we're going to position that? At 3300. While we're here, let's copy its name. Paste its name. Go into View, Canvas, Layout Settings. What do we say? 768. Select rows, 8 and 1. And we're here again. Let's create some guides. At 16. 384. 368. 400. 752. 80 and 688. Just save where we're at and position it at 3300. Now the last one is interesting because the most popular mobile phone design size is probably an iPhone 7 or 8. That's 375 pixels wide by 667 pixels high. Now 375 doesn't divide into 8. So what are we going to do? Now we can do a grid that doesn't adhere exactly to an 8-point grid, but let's try the following. If it gets too annoying for you when you start designing, just let me know and we'll pull it in 1 pixel. But for now, we're going to make a outboard that's 375 by 667, but we're going to use these settings. Let's copy the name. So we've got 360 pixels wide, 72 pixel columns, 24 pixel gutter, an offset of 8 pixels, and no outside gutters. Select that last artboard, create a new one, change this to Apple devices, select iPhone 8, position it at 4400, select it, change its name, and go to View, Canvas, Layout Settings, 360, 8, 4, no outside gutters, 24, and 72. Now let's center it. Now already I can start to see problems, so we're going to zoom in. We're going to change the layout settings to 344, 16, 2, and 24. We've got the rows. Here we go. If we bring in some guides, we start at 16, then 176, then 200, then 360. So I've got 16 pixels of padding over here and only 15 over here. Oh my God, that's a bit freaky. Let's leave it for now. Save this and take 200 off that. See, I'm probably going to make a ton of mistakes doing these videos. I've also spent a lot of time behind the camera, but not much time in front of it. So I'm going to have to get used to speaking into a camera like this and relaxing and becoming more like myself. I'll try to do the videos at a more reasonable time so I'm not half asleep and you guys don't go to sleep. Let's see what we've got. Delete that text. Save the document. And then come down here and select Preview and Commit. And here you can see Abstract is asking us to give the Artboards and Grid branch that we've just made a name to commit it with. So I'm going to say Artboard and Grid. Done. Now let's cross our fingers and hope this all works. Look at that, everything's fine. Okay, for the next video, we're going to bring in our logo, we're going to create our color palette, turn the colors into shared styles, and then create some other shared styles to go along with it, like outlines, drop shadows, that type of thing. Hopefully doing these video tutorials, instead of spending months inside Medium perfecting everything, it's going to get you guys this type of content faster. What else can I say? The normal kind of stuff. Subscribe to see the next one, and have a good night. I'm going to bed. Bye. bye.